Welcome to this week's edition of Mainly Motorsports, and racing previews come and gone. There's the two race shows we do up here in the state of Maine to kick off the 2015 racing season, and it's over. Now everybody can focus. You've just watched Daytona. Everybody can now get focused on their 2015 race season. And I know a guy that's plans have just changed for 2015 in a more positive manner, and that's Mike Moody from the Wiscasset area, as he was the winner of the Turnkey Super Late Model raffle car. So congratulations to Mike Moody. Once again, not in attendance. So really, I mean, obviously I'm in the business to sell tickets, but if you're within a half hour, 45-minute, hour ride, why aren't you there to collect your 500? But in all seriousness, congratulations to Mike Moody. And I'm excited at the fact that I hear he wants to race the car. So hopefully that does happen, and it adds another race car to a field at a track somewhere in the state of Maine. So we're going to have Mike on the show in the next week or so and hear his take, his elation of winning a car for a $25 raffle ticket. And congratulations to him. We didn't give the bonus money away, but I did have a drawing after to give 3 people that were in attendance. If you were in the building, gave you $100. So I'm all about appreciate everybody that did come and attend the show, and we had a really good time. I know the weather has affected everybody this season as far as trailers getting out, cars getting down. A lot of you are in the construction business, you're plowing, and and I hear it everywhere. I hear it at the parts stores how a snowstorm affects them for 3 days. Everybody. So, but no, really excited for Mike and all the participants that were at the show, and a lot of nice displays. And somebody had a nice comment to me, and I want to pass on to everybody that was at the show, as they walked around and we were talking, and they said one of the things that they thought that maybe the car count wasn't as high as it had been in years past, because every track there lost cars leading up to it that they weren't able to get finished or get there. But they didn't, they dug their heels in, they did the best they could, and the display's all good. And they said, but every display there was neat, it was clean, it was well laid out, professionally looking. And that has nothing to do with me. That has to do with everybody that had a booth. So I appreciate that in each and every one of you, and the efforts that you all put in. And once again, when it was time to load out, the snow came. So everybody did a great job loading out, and so thank you once again from me for everybody, and a lot of familiar faces that I saw in Augusta and I also saw in Portland. So we're turning our attention to race season, but my focus now also turns to 2016 Northeast Motorsports Expo, and we hope to have some exciting news and announcements about that event coming up over the next month or so. But really a great turnout in there, great time. The raffle car, a lot of interest, and a lot of you that might not follow along on social media and Facebook and didn't go to the website weren't aware what Lee Mortensen did. And I just want to throw a special shout out to Lee from Four Seasons Synthetic. I approached him right after I bought Mainly Motorsports, and about becoming a sponsor, and he jumped on board for a couple of years as a sponsor, signature sponsor, which he's now going to jump back on board. But he's always been involved in everything I do, from the Mainly Motorsports TV go-kart race to my off-season shows, sponsor of the pit stop competitions in Augusta, just a big supporter of motorsports. More and more involved with Wiscasset every year with his Driver of the Year program up there, and just gives back. And he called me last week, wanted to do something, wasn't sure what he could do, wasn't sure what he wanted to do. Came up with the idea that he wanted to buy 100 raffle tickets for the car. Bought 100 raffle tickets. Any ticket that you bought, and we did it on Saturday morning, said anybody that come in, the first 100 tickets sold, he matched whatever you bought. You had to go over and see him. He gave you a ticket. And I hope some of you people that went over and bought tickets not only just gone on and got his ticket, but you listened to what he was selling for his product, his AMSOIL product, his light line. I mean, he's such a supporter of the sport. And I think more people need to give back to Lee and be more involved in what Lee does and what he says, because those are the people that you need to give back to, is the people that support the sport. And so I was really appreciative of that. He thought he signed the back of every ticket that he gave away to the person, because he wanted to know if it was just something he gave away. He was hoping that one of his tickets was somebody won. So, but it was really exciting and refreshing to have him do that. And it was too bad, and he said, any tickets that I have left, I will use. So he thought he'd have 10 or 20 tickets in the drum. 1 o'clock Saturday, his 100 were gone. So, and he loved being a part of it and participating. And like I said, if you see Lee at a track this year, whether it's involved with Mainely Motorsports or Wiscasset Speedway or wherever he is, you really need to stop and think about what this man does for motorsports. And if you're looking for a product, whether it's AMSOIL or anything that he deals with, at least give him the time and check into it. And more times than not, you'll find out that you need to be doing business with him because his product lines work. And I'm going to have Lee on the show over the next few weeks too, and just talk about his experience and the people he got to talk and meet and talk to at the show. So we got a great show planned today. When we come back from break, we're going to talk to the guy that just went and cleaned up in Florida, and that's Eddie Mack, the hottest driver in Maine. I mean, in New England right now, and obviously there isn't a lot of them that are racing right now. But we're going to talk to Eddie McDonald about his excursion down to Florida and how much that meant to him and his team, as well as what his 2015 race plans are. So we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back here on Mainely Motorsports.
You don't have to wait until the end of camping season to get your best price. Hi, I'm Scott from Scott's Recreation. We're starting our end-of-season sale now. This is our biggest selection ever. Fifth wheels with savings up to $20,000. Big selection of toy haulers starting at only $19,999. 2015 Trail Runner bunkhouses with super slides and island kitchens for only $199 per month. Motorhomes, truck campers, and more. Financing available. Trades welcome.
Scott's Recreation, Turner and Manchester, Maine. Don't let the other guys rough you up. Shop online at otmotorsales.com.
Clark's Eastside Scrap and Westside Scrap, two of the region's most efficient scrap yards. Both locations have the latest and greatest equipment, along with large capacity scales that are constantly calibrated to ensure honest weights. Car crushing, roll-off containers, scrap metal. Clark's Eastside Scrap in Chelsea and Clark's Westside Scrap in Farmingdale. Don't fix it, scrap it.
Mainely Motorsports TV, brought to you by
Moody's Collision Centers, now with 7 convenient locations: Gorham, Scarborough, Biddeford, Portland, Sanford, Lewiston, and now South Portland. Visit us at moodyscollision.com.
Southern Maine Motors, out to be Maine's #1 Chrysler Dodge Jeep dealership, Route 1 Saco.
Welcome to Mainely Motorsports.
To order copies of a show, send a check or money order for $15, shipping and handling included, to Mainely Motorsports, 326 Roosevelt Trail, Windham, Maine, 04062. And please add a description of the show.
Welcome back to Mainely Motorsports, and on the phone now we have the guy that went to Florida. He went, he saw, he conquered, and he came back and brought all the hardware, and that's Eddie McDonald. And Eddie, we want to welcome you to Mainely Motorsports.
How you doing, Steve? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I mean, how crazy is that, Eddie? People hope to win one race in a season. 3 races is considered a phenomenal season, and you go down and you do 3 races in 3 races. I mean, how big a deal is this for Eddie and his team?
Oh, yeah, it was definitely a dream come true. I was joking with Rolly before we went down there. We were in the shop working on the car, and I said, I'd like to go down there and win all 3 of them. And he said, yeah, we'll be lucky to be able to get one of them. So, we were joking back and forth, and to actually go down there and be able to pull off, all 3 wins, that's just, we definitely weren't expecting anything like that.
No, by no means. And, the funny thing is, you won the first one pretty convincing, but, you were good. Now, obviously you can try to get a little better, but the competition, those guys are going to really pick their game up, and they did, and they closed the gap. And those last 2, they were struggles for you.
Yeah, definitely. The first one, we had a great set of tires. The first batch, for the weekend, and the car handled, great right out of the trailer. And I think as the weekend went on, all the other guys started getting a lot better, and we didn't have the advantage of starting on the pole and everything, so that was definitely harder and harder every race that went on.
Yeah, no, and then to see, you know, the night that you and Wayne and Joey, you know, 3 graduates of Lee USA Speedway, you've all won races down there. I mean, that's only a proud parent as your dad and your mom as parents to Eddie McDonald, but how about track owners and promoters of a little track up here in Lee, New Hampshire, huh?
Yeah, I was thinking that too. It was so great to, you know, to be able to go from New Hampshire all the way to Florida and you know, race against guys that grew up racing at Lee and you know, to have the top 3, you know, and you know, Wayne, when I was racing late models weekly at Lee, it was running, you know, head to head against Wayne and his guys. So it's funny, you know, whatever it is, 15 years later to still be doing the same thing.
Yeah, no, and representing the Northeast, you know, your home track, but also the American Canadian Tour and what Tom Curley has worked so hard over the last, you know, 15, 20 years of his racing career to build into something that is a very respected tour throughout the entire country.
Yeah, that was great. It was such a nice package that he put together to get us all to get down there. And I heard from a lot of people that those 3 races were some of the best racing that they had there, you know, all week. And, you know, possibly, you know, in the last few years. So it was definitely great to be able to be part of that. And Tom did such a nice job, you know, making everything work, even, you know, with the circumstances with the rain and everything. So luckily it all worked out and everyone was able to stay and we were able to get that last race.
Yeah, no, and you know, great for you starting the season off. Your team, I mean, Rolly's a name that's synonymous up here in Maine. You know, raced for years with Tracy Gordon. You know, started out with Ryan Moore when Ryan went with the Busch Series. So, you know, big deal for him too, and still doing it and still winning and winning with a driver like you and you know the entire team that's behind you.
Yeah, we got such a good group of guys, and you know, having Rolly lead us all, and you know, he really knows what he's doing with the cars, and it's taken us a little while to figure this newer car out, and you know, I think we're heading in the right direction now. So definitely looking forward to this upcoming season, and you know, especially starting the year off, you know, with 3 wins. You can't ask for anything more than that.
Yeah. If you don't win another race all year, which I find that very hard to believe will happen, you know, you could still say we've had a pretty good year. We won 3 races, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, which brings us to the rest of 2015. What are Eddie's plans? I mean, the K&N's already run a race. You weren't involved in that, but you know, you were down there for the ACT side of things. But what is going on with the K&N side of things, and is there any hopes of maybe seeing you at a few pass races? You know?
Yeah, as of right now, we're preparing the car to go to Bristol in April. You know, that'll be our first K&N race. So I believe it's the week after the ACT race at Lee, the opener. We're going to try to do the ACT race, and then we'll head to Bristol and probably run the bigger tracks with the K&N series, and you know, as many ACT races as we can fill in that work with the schedule. And then you know, we haven't really we don't have anything set in stone for any pass races. We still don't have a pass car as of now, so hopefully something can change and we can be able to make it to a couple of those races this year.
Yeah, and you know, because they got some of the races that are running the ACT and the pass, and obviously, you know, Eddie McDonald's a racer, but also you're a race fan. And what is your take on what's happened between pass and ACT? And I don't want to say a merger, but a partnership, you know?
Yeah, I think it's great that you know, the 2 series are getting along, and I think it's going to be good for, you know, all of New England's racing. You know, so that everyone can kind of get along, and you know, the races can go and do as much racing as they want to do, and I think it's going to be great for fans and races all around.
No, I think you're absolutely right, and you know, you brought a lot of attention, you know, up here to the Northeast with your domination of the 3 races down there at New Smyrna on the ACT side of things. But you know, turning to another side of things, I mean, what do you think of Austin Terrio and going down to Daytona? Obviously, he's in good stuff, but you still have to perform and being what I call the ultimate teammate and coming home with a top 5 finish in his first truck race, huh?
Yeah, I mean, what a dream come true for him to be able to race at Daytona in anything is it's just got to be the greatest feeling. It's definitely on my bucket list of something I want to do. But you know, he did such a great job down there, and he's really run well at anything he's been in. You know, getting that ARCA win and you know, to come home third at Daytona was just unreal. I was cheering him on Friday night, and hoping he was going to be able to pull off a win, but still a third is very respectable.
Yeah, and with him doing what he's doing, guys like you doing what you're doing, some others running South in the past South Series, it's bringing a lot of attention up here to the Northeast. And for the younger drivers that'll follow your generation, it's good for them because the doors are going to open for people to be noticed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the tours that we have up here, you know, people are definitely going to pay attention to those, and as younger drivers come up through. So it's definitely good to have, you know, some recognition in the big series.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, Eddie. But I want to thank you for taking the time with us here on Mainly Motorsports, and as you always do, and you're always accommodating for whatever we need from you. So wish you the best of luck as you roll on into the rest of 2015. You know.
Yeah, thank you very much. I really appreciate you having me on, and looking forward to a great season.
All right, that's Eddie McDonald, already 3-race winner. Over the last week, won 3 races. So once again, Eddie, thank you again, and we'll be right back here on Mainly Motorsports.
Hi, I'm Johnny Wolf.
And I'm Dan Wolf. We've been selling and servicing vehicles on Route 25 in Gorham since 1972.
Wolf Auto Service offers state inspections, tires, brakes, and suspension.
21st Century Motors has a great selection of cars and trucks starting at $29.99.
With no mortgage and low overhead, we sell and service at guaranteed lowest prices.
We're just 6 miles west of Turnpike, exit 47 on Route 25 in Gorham. Online at 21stcenturymaine.com.
Today's vehicles are equipped with complex safety features such as anti-lock brakes, seatbelt restraints, and airbag systems. Even collision avoidance systems. Not available in all models. Hi, I'm Sean Moody from Moody's Collision Centers. We don't wish bad luck on anyone, but even with today's technology, we need to keep our eyes on the road and our hands on the wheel.
Moody's Collision Centers, now with 9 locations in Maine.
Patman's Redemption and Agency Liquor Store is located at 95 Tanberg Trail in Windham, Maine. With over 400 feet of hard liquor and 15 doors of ice-cold beer and soda, Patman's can handle all of your beverage needs. And if it's wine on your agenda, we have over 300 varieties in stock. Then when the party's over, Patman's can handle all of your Maine returnables, and we welcome all bottle drives. And if you're late for the race, drop off the bottles and pick up the cash at your convenience.
Hey, this is Pat Man himself, just letting you know that Pat Man's is your one-stop shop for all your thirsty needs.
Well, coming up here this weekend, right over at Maine Indoor Karting in Scarborough, is the DT100, the event that Dave Thomas came up with a few years back and has really grown into one of the biggest fundraising charity events that I know of up here in the Northeast that is funded by locals, not big businesses with big corporate sponsorships. It's funded by you, the racer, the race fan, and Dave Thomas puts his heart and soul into it. And we got a chance to talk to Dave down to Racers Expo a few weeks ago about what he had coming up and his plans and his thoughts, and really excited to be a part of that. And they did an interview with him down there, and Pete Falcone, and the voice of Niemer, and you'll hear him a lot of times over at Lee USA Speedway, caught up with Dave and talked about everything that was going to be going on at the DT100 and the history and some of the things. So enjoy this interview with Dave Thomas, and it's still your chance to get out and promote the event and promote the drivers in the event as they try to raise as much money as they can for the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
We're at Racers Expo 2015 in Marlborough, talking to some of the exhibitors and the vendors, and talking about events that happen in our area. And right now we're going to talk about the largest indoor charity karting event in northern New England that happens and has really grown into quite an event to raise money for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Dave Thomas is going to speak about that, and we're talking about the DT100, which is coming up really soon.
It is. It's coming up on Saturday, February 28th at Maine Indoor Karting in Scarborough.
And how many karts or how many drivers will participate in that?
Probably got a little over 100, probably end up with about 110, something like that.
And it's become quite the event because it's all local names. It's drivers from tracks all over New England.
Yeah, New England and beyond. We've actually got like I said, a little over 100 drivers from representing 12 states. All the major short track touring series such as ISMA, PASS, NEMA, the Wayland Modified Tour, just all around. Yeah.
Is this an invitational thing, or do these guys come forward and want to be part of it?
It's kind of a mixture of everything. We do have, I have some invitations that I do send out to drivers. We have some drivers that have heard about it that I don't know, it still kind of humbles me a little bit to know that some of these drivers have heard about it and they're interested in it. We also have a waiting list. You do have to show up to the day of the event to join our waiting list, and we try to get drivers in as soon as we can, but obviously we can only have so many drivers.
So how did this all come about?
I'm the son of a 35-year racing veteran. My dad raced modifieds, super modifieds, did some pro stock, stuff like that. And, I was kind of a typical race kid, went around the track and stuff, but Dad did a great job of kicking me out of the garage. And, go to school, do this. So I did everything he told me to do. But I've been around it. I mean, it's exciting. It's racing. It's what we all love. So I always wondered what it would be like. So a lot of my friends growing up were race car, second generation, third generation kids. And we'd go to our local indoor go-kart track. And I'm racing against them, and I'm like, wow, I got a pretty good opportunity here to see like what I can do against these guys. And some of my other friends, they didn't have that opportunity. So I thought it'd be kind of neat to give everybody that opportunity to do that and do it for a great cause like Make-A-Wish.
Yeah, most definitely. And but the memory of your father has a lot of influence on this event.
Oh, it definitely does. My dad did the first one. Dad had been retired since 1996. He ran our first event in 2009. And, he was getting a little older and stuff, and, didn't move quite as quick and stuff. And so he got in the cart, and he didn't like the feel of racing. We started out in champ carts. So we kind of got him in there and stuff, and he's like, I go, you ready to go, Dad? And he's like, yeah, he's just like this. And I'm like, wow, he just looks really uncomfortable. I'll tell you right now, that green flag dropped. He went 3 wide right to the outside and just went. Unfortunately, some guys in front of him did the same thing, too. There was a big pile up. Dad got right in the pile up, and he goes, I think I'm good, but I'm proud of you. You know? So it was great, and he's since passed, and but his memory always lives on. We have an award for him every year, which means a lot to me, the Dave Thomas Award, and what we do is we always give that to the driver that we feel has really put their best foot forward to help promote the event, show support, just be a good face for our event. So.
And then how did you choose the Make-A-Wish Foundation?
I actually had a friend out in northern New York. He did a racers charity auction where he'd get body panels, stuff like that, autographed. And I just thought it was really neat what he was doing. He did that for 10 years. He raised over $100,000 for it, and it was just fun to go out there and support him and do it. He had some other changes in his life, and he's just, the event had started to pass a little bit, and he's like, okay, everything unfortunately comes to an end. But it was kind of nice because we supported him, and then we made the transition. And so, we like to think that it just kept going. It's not that his ended at 10 years. We're actually getting closer to our whole project working on 20 years.
And I understand today, at this show, people can buy a chance to win a spot to be in the DT100.
Yes, we've been doing some various raffles here and there and trying to come up with some different ideas to spread the word about what we're trying to do. And so basically for $2 a chance, anybody, as long as you're over the age of 16, you can join our raffle for $2. All the proceeds go to Make-A-Wish. And for $2, you can just show right up. You don't have to do any of the fundraising. You don't have to do any of the track rental fee that we have, anything. You just show up and just get a chance to race against the best.
And with this kind of event, it sounds like it would be your full-time job, but I know it's not. You're a graphics guy, right?
I am. My business partner, Steve Dickey, and I, we joined forces. We both, he's been doing signs for 10 years. I've been 17. And, we ended up we had, kind of a mutual customer base, and we just decided to try to build something a little bit bigger, and it's been really great. This is my first expo. He's been down here for a few years now. Actually, I believe all 5. And it's just been really great to meet everybody and just really appreciate the opportunity that Bobby Seymour has given us to help promote our business and promote the DT100.
You do race cars, obviously. Do the design and everything?
We go start to finish. Obviously he's also second generation, And so it's, obviously started with race cars, but it's branched out to so much more than that. We do vehicle lettering, wraps. We've got into embroidery. Even just this year, our trophy supplier unfortunately went out of business, and we have to figure out something to do with trophies. So we just figured out how to find the parts and put them together, and we started making our own trophies.
Great,
so,
great. So give the business a little plug.
Oh, it's definitely Synergy Signworks, and you can visit us on Facebook at Synergy Signworks, and we're located in Londonderry, New Hampshire. And I also want to say we do have a website now for the DT100, and it's dt100race.com. We have a list of drivers on there, and you can. What's been really great this year is you can make donations by PayPal or credit card, and that's really helped a lot. I was kind of behind the times a little bit. Everybody's sending in checks, and there's some people that just don't even have checkbooks anymore. So I just, Evan Bollier from Nitro Designs developed a website for us, and it's been great. You can just go right on there. You can select your favorite driver, or you can just select the DT100 General Fund and make a donation.
Excellent.
But this year we're hoping to raise. I'm hoping to raise $25,000 again. Last year we did really well. We raised over $30,000, and that was our net fundraising. And net is important to me because that's after all the expenses are done. That's how much we're actually able to present to Make-A-Wish, and that's the number that's really most important. We try very hard to keep our operating costs down, but still be able to put together, hopefully what everybody thinks is a first-class, event. But yeah, so right now we're at $125,000, and hopefully this event puts us to $150,000.
That's great. Yeah. Well, best of luck with that, and keep it going. And it has turned out to be the largest indoor karting event in northern New England, and all the stars, anybody that you can imagine, from full-fendered race cars to open-wheel super modifieds and midgets, participate in this race, and you've done a great job. Keep it up.
Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity to be able to spread the word.
Our pleasure. Don't forget the DT100. Thank you, Dave, for
Thank
stopping
you very much.
I did not grow up in the car business. I started as a technician in a small garage, and now lucky enough to own my own dealership. I think buying a new car should be hassle-free with pricing up front. We like to negotiate with everyone the same way. Our goal is for our customers to feel good and make it easy and quick if they so desire. We pay our sales staff to help satisfy your needs, not to collect a traditional commission.
Southern Maine Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Maine's only Viper dealer, Route 1, Saco.
Award season event is going on now.
You don't have to wait until the end of camping season to get your best price. Hi, I'm Scott from Scotch Recreation. We're starting our end of season sale now. This is our biggest selection ever. Fifth wheels with savings up to $20,000. Big selection of toy haulers starting at only $19,999. 2015 trail runner bunkhouses with super slides and island kitchens for only $199 per month. Motorhomes, truck campers, and more. Financing available. Trades welcome.
Scott's Recreation, Turner and Manchester, Maine.
For a trusted name in residential and commercial site work in the southern Maine area, call Peter Pettit Excavating. We can handle everything from the complete house lot to those nasty water and sewer line repairs. Septic systems are another area that we specialize in. During the snow season, Pettit Excavating has the equipment to handle any size job.
And when the race season arrives, be sure to follow the number 7 Hewitt's Family Restaurant Chevrolet on the past Super Late Model Tour.
Call 207-282-9305 to get the job done right. That's Peter Pettit Excavating.
Mainly Motorsports TV, brought to you by
Clark's Car Crushing, providing guaranteed honest weights with top dollar being paid.
Well, welcome back to Mainly Motorsports, and just had a weekend down at Daytona. Highs, lows, excited people, disappointed people, and how about the kid that we had on the show last week from Fort Kent, Maine, talking about his first start on the big track at Daytona in the truck series, and where'd he end up? I mean, unbelievable what Austin Terrio did in the BKR race team. Not only to come out of there with a great finish, but had to earn a tremendous amount of respect, obviously from his teammate, from his team, from the other competitors, from his owner, and just amazing to watch and feel like we're all a part of. Anybody that's gone to the races up here and watched him compete on the local level, whether it was Spud Speedway and then on to the ACT Tour and then some past races, and followed along on Speed 51 or Facebook or anything that we're now able to do, and just really excited. And we'll hopefully catch up with Austin in another week or so and talk about not only Daytona, but what that did for his confidence level. And as he moves forward, and any change in plans if it adds more races to the docket, or changes some things around. But really happy for Austin, and proud of how everything worked out for him, and excited to follow along for the rest of the 2015 season in the Camping World Truck Series. So we'll take a break. We'll come back. I want to get some more interviews from Racers Expo and some other things that people really need to think about, especially after watching Daytona this past weekend.
Hi, I'm Johnny Wolf.
And I'm Dan Wolf. We've been selling and servicing vehicles on Route 25 in Gorham since 1972.
Wolf Auto Service offers state inspections, tires, brakes, and suspension.
21st Century Motors has a great selection of cars and trucks starting at $29.99.
With no mortgage and low overhead, we sell and service at guaranteed lowest prices.
We're just 6 miles west of Turnpike, exit 47 on Route 25 in Gorham. Online at 21stcenturymain.com.
We've got the car you've been looking for at OT Motor Sales. Shop online at otmotorsales.com.
Not sure what brand tire to buy? Town Fair Tire has them all. Michelin, Goodyear, Firestone, Bridgestone, Pirelli, Toyo, Yokohama, Hankook, and more. No matter what size or brand, Town Fair Tire beats all the competition, even online prices. We'll also do a free front wheel alignment with any tire purchase. Name brand tires, the lowest prices, free alignment. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody.
Name brands at discount prices. Town Fair Tire.
Well, obviously we all know the changes that have taken place over the last 15 years in the sport of auto racing for safety. And still, injuries happen. Kyle Busch, out for, could be 6 months, could be longer, for broken bones in his legs and foot, and, just amazing with all the things and changes that they've made to make the cars safer, the tracks safer, and everything, that injuries still happen. And a guy that's been so instrumental over the years to do his part inside the cockpit to make sure that part of the body stays safe and stays contained, and that's Randy LaJoie. And I spent a few minutes talking with Randy down in Racers Expo, as I've met him a few years back, and he continues to try to improve ways for safety, so things don't happen and drivers don't get hurt and or lose lives. So Pete Falcone and them, they brought Randy on the stage and talked to him about some of the things that go on at the Joy of Seating, and I'm a big proponent. If you're going to strap in a race car, the first thing you need to think about is your seat, your belt, your suit, your helmet, your Hans. 5 things. Those should be the first 5 things you buy. After that, we can start putting the race car together. But let's make those the first 5 things we think about. As we've seen over the last few years, it doesn't matter how fast you're going, what type of class you're in, whether you're 200 miles an hour at Daytona or 55 miles an hour in a little car out in California. Injuries and ultimately death can happen. So, parents, grandparents, everybody, just jump on board, group efforts. Let's get these kids the right, proper safety equipment, because if it can happen to Kyle Busch, to get hurt, it surely can happen to little Johnny that's running wherever, So listen to what Randy LaJoie has to say, and really think about it as we move close to our racing season, to inspect all your stuff and make sure you have the proper gear to put them as safe as possible. We obviously all know anything can happen no matter what, but to put them as safe as possible, really think about making sure they have the proper gear.
At Racers Expo in Marlborough, Massachusetts, 2015, talking with Randy LaJoie. Welcome, Randy.
How are you?
I'm doing just fine. We could go all the way back to Danbury Race Arena, I think, but that would take up about 2 hours of this broadcast, so we won't go back that far, but we'll go back to a pretty good career that you had.
It was fun. I started in Danbury. They closed it, which was okay for me, not good for the Danbury people, because if they didn't close it, I'd probably still be there, because you can race a 25-lap race. They made a percentage of the gate, 8,000 people every week. And my dad made pretty good money. But since then, I've gone out and did Stafford, Thompson, New London, got hooked up with the old NASCAR North Tour through Dickie Williams when we raced in New London, raced the North car there, and really liked the fendered part. So it took me to a different direction, into the full body cars. Moved south in '88, got an opportunity in '94 to run down there. Won the '96, '97 championships in the Busch Series, now whatever, Xfinity. And I had a good ride. It was fun.
A great career, and made New England proud, I might add.
Well, that's great. I mean, there's a lot of people that it seems like to me when I read publications and stuff, you know, they talk about New England and they always forget about me. You know, I said, well, how many guys have won a championship in New England and gone down south and won a championship? And I think I'm the only one.
I think so. Jeff Bodine, well, no, he was in New England, but I think you're right.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, they look at the Bodine boys and then Craven and all those guys, but you know, at the end of the day, I won championships on both sides of the street, you know, other than Mason-Dixon. You know, and there's still people in the South that are fighting that war.
For sure. And of course, you got out of the car, you got out of the seat in the car, but you got back in the seat because you have the joy of seating.
Yeah, it's something that, you know, my dad bought this seat that I use that I'm selling from Mark Donahue in 1971. So when I started driving, my dad said, use this seat. And it was very comfortable. And the better I did, the more people want you to drive their cars. And I would go with my helmet and just drive a car because that's what racers do. And I was very uncomfortable, didn't feel safe. So up until, you know, '94, I always used that Mark Donahue seat. And then NASCAR said we can't use fiberglass anymore, even though I had it surrounded with a cage of metal. You know, they said we don't want fiberglass seats, and they wanted me to use an aluminum seat. So I brought it to all the existing seat builders, and nobody would build it for me because it was too hard to make that seat round, you know, because it formed to your body. They didn't want to do it because it was difficult. But that's the seat that I wanted. So I had to invest, you know, a lot of time and money to make stampings, to do it correctly, to build the Mark Donahue style seat, which I was driving it for 15 years and being a crash test dummy every once in a while, you know, come out of it okay. You know, if I hit my head one more time, I probably could hide my own Easter eggs. So that's one of the reasons I'm not in a race car anymore. But, you know, I don't like seeing racers get hurt. I'm a race fan. I grew up watching racing, grew up watching my dad in the New the modifieds. And it bothers me when I see people getting hurt. So I started a nonprofit called The Safer Racer that's on the road. I've been to over 100 racetracks. And what you see on the road is just is mind-boggling, that they just don't have the information. So I've been out there 8 years now, you know, probably do 20 races a year, 20 tracks a year. And, you know, I've made the industry better, not always in my product, you know, because a nickel does matter. And, you know, I have the high-end nickel seat. I mean, my seat, the reason nobody else wanted to build it, because it was expensive.
Sure.
But it's what I wanted. So I sell an expensive seat. And I've educated everybody else to build something like it, and they're not the same, but they're cheap. And people do buy cheap stuff.
Unfortunately.
Yes.
And, of course, safety first, but comfort is, you got to be comfortable in the race car. And that's part of what you guys work on.
And that's what I thought would be a major selling point, was a different comfort. I mean, I put a round plug in a round hole. When race car drivers sit into a seat, you know, I was told when I drove that sometimes my head was up my rear end. So I knew I had a round ass. And 9 times out of 10, everybody else are the same way. So that's what I do different is, you know, your hips are supported, being a round stamped seat. I'm allowed to have less material because of the roundness. You don't have any square edges. Being round, it's a shape like the arch, very strong. You know, because anytime you have a square seat, the square is not as strong as round. Plus, with the tubing that I put a roll cage around the seat, and it's worked out very well. It's very strong. I have my own testing facility, and We do a lot of testing. Other than myself being a crash test dummy, now I turned it over to other customers. But it's something that people don't realize. The less you move, the better you're going to be, and we're getting there, but we're still not there yet.
But a young guy could come, be fitted for a seat, and have it with him for his whole career.
Well, we have a program for kids. And one of the things, one of my competitors asked me if I do anything with kids. And my son was probably 12 at the time, and I had to build him a couple of different seats throughout the year because they grew so much. Well, not only did I have to build them seats, you have to buy pants and clothes and fire suits and, as kids do. And my competitor says, you need to get in the kids market because they need to buy a seat every 6 months. And I said, well, you must not have kids. And he said, no, I don't. I said, well, that's not fair. So I have a program. I have a program that, I take a hit for a couple, 3 seats, but the kid's safe. And it has worked out well, from the kids from 10 years old to 16, I've had customers, and I've had customers jump ship, after an investment in the kids, because at the end of the day, it costs me money after 2 or 3 seats because I don't want to hurt the parents, and I also don't want to hurt the kids. But then after they get a little older and they're like, oh, well, somebody offered me this, and, racers do take free stuff. And there are people in this industry that give free stuff away, and it's hard to compete with free stuff.
Sure.
But they would jump ship just because they get free stuff. And they're, oh, man, but it's not as comfortable as yours. I was like, really? I said, but you're still using it, and your back is sore? And, oh, yeah, but I'll be okay. That's okay. Well, they give me the seat and they give me a fire suit. Really? But so this is a tough business, and racers are very shoestring orientated, and if somebody's going to give them something, they're probably going to use it even if it's an inferior equipment.
Yeah, unfortunately again. But well, maybe next year our interview chairs could actually be some Joy seats, right?
Well, no, or recliners. That's good. We got some seats out there. We could bring them in.
Yeah.
This is doing pretty good right now.
Yeah, it's pretty comfortable. Well, I want to thank you for stopping by. I know you're busy at the booth out there at Racers Expo, but thank you for sharing your philosophy on that business and your love for racing, and we appreciate you coming by.
Hey, thanks. Bobby Seymour does a great job up here in New England for this show, for the racers up here. And we need more Bobby Seymours in this business.
For sure. And Randy LaJoy's.
Oh, well, sometimes.
Okay. From Racers Expo 2015 in Marlboro, Mass, been talking with Randy LaJoy, the joy of seating, and all other causes that he's working for. Randy, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Today's vehicles are equipped with complex safety features such as anti-lock brakes, seatbelt restraints, and airbag systems, even collision avoidance systems. Not available in all models. Hi, I'm Sean Moody from Moody's Collision Centers. We don't wish bad luck on anyone, but even with today's technology, we need to keep our eyes on the road and our hands on the wheel.
Moody's Collision Centers, now with 9 locations in Maine.
I did not grow up in the car business. I started as a technician in a small garage, and now lucky enough to own my own dealership. I think buying a new car should be hassle-free with pricing up front. We like to negotiate with everyone the same way. Our goal is for our customers to feel good and make it easy and quick if they so desire. We pay our sales staff to help satisfy your needs, not to collect a traditional commission.
Southern Maine Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Maine's only Viper dealer, Route 1, Saco.
Award season event is going on now.
Mainly Motorsports TV, brought to you by
Scotch Recreation. Whether you're thinking about your first camper or looking to upgrade your current one, Scotch Recreation can help you. Get both our Route 202 Manchester and our Route 4 Turner locations and online at scotchrecreation.com.
LKQ Core. Any part, any repair, anywhere. Located on Route 202 in Gorham.
Communication. You need it in everything you do, whether it's work, relationships, school. Communications is important. And then you have the communications in the race cars, between your radios and your scanners, and to be able to talk to your drivers and the receivers. And I know a lot of tracks are going with receivers. And a guy that we've brought on as a partner of Mainly Motorsports over the last couple of years, Sean Waddell of Waddell Communications, really excited to give to the racers and help the racers. He's an RE dealer. you know, he can ship, he can do whatever you need him to do to get you the product you need. And we caught up with him down there and talked to him about some of the things that he likes to do and some of the things he can do for you. And you'll see him at racetracks through all of New England, and from Maine to Connecticut to, you know, sometimes he'll be at a track from Thursday to Monday, you know. So if you're looking to upgrade your equipment, want your stuff gone through, you know, Sean's the guy to do it. And, you know, get in touch with him. You can find him on Facebook. You listen to his interview. He tells you how to get in touch with him. And he can get you set up so you don't have those failures to, you know, not be able to communicate with your spotter or your scanners so your fans want to follow along with you. So Sean Waddell from Waddell Communications, the best in the business up here in the Northeast.
Okay, we're down here at Racers Expo, the 6th annual Racers Expo, and you know, all you guys out there that are radios, anything to do with communications, scanners, there's only one name in New England that you need to deal with, and that's Sean Waddell at Waddell Communications, and I want to welcome him back to Mainely Motorsports.
Thanks, Steve. I love coming on your show. It's a pleasure. Recently, last month, we went to the Northeast Motorsports Expo up in Augusta. Had a chance to see some of my friends from Maine, get to reacquaint with them after a long winter here. Now we're down here in Marlboro. A little different crowd. Some of the Maine people travel down, but we're seeing a little different crowd. Went to some seminars, trying to help, you know, people straighten out some of the little problems they have and keeping up with their equipment over the winter and get ready for the season.
Yeah, I know everybody that's come to some of the races in Maine and come to Senior at the 250 and some races over to Beech Ridge up to Oxford. They see your trailer and you're a hands-on guy. You know, you're just you're there to make repairs. You're there to program scanners. You're there to program radios. You know, I mean, you just when you show up at these events, it never stop for you.
Yeah, it's pretty nonstop because of the lack of, you know, being there weekly, which it's too hard to, you know, go up to Maine or Vermont, Thunder Road or Devil's Bowl every week. I try to make a circuit where I try to make it, you know, every 4 or 5 weeks back up to the circuit and get around. And with, you know, 2 or 3 or 4 divisions using radios, you know, stuff accumulates. So when I get to the track, I'm usually there as soon as the pit gate opens up. I go in and then, you know, the mad rush lines there. And, you know, you go through and you get the typical program in the radios. Then, you know, a couple drivers will come up with their earbuds are broke. You got to re-glue them or put new cords on them. Or, you know, can you check this wire harness? I need this Hans installed. You know, put the Hans post on the helmet for the guy, or put a mic kit in the helmet. Or, you know, a guy will come over, hey, can you come over to my car and check it out? I'm having a problem. You know, you get out the test equipment, get the meters out, go over there, check them out for them. And, you know, it makes you feel good at the end of the day when you leave the racetrack and all your customers are happy and they come up to you and say, hey, thanks a lot for coming to the racetrack. You know, you drive 3 or 4 hours and, you know, they appreciate you coming, so it helps out for me too, as far as knowing that the feedback they give me is good and we're doing the right thing.
Yeah, no, exactly. And, you know, you've only been coming up into the Maine for the last couple of years with the Pro All-Star Series and, you know, and then doing some of the ACT stuff. And you really helped a lot of people. I mean, you know, you've helped us. And then the fact that you go to the Northeast Motorsports Expo, you know, brings you that new customer base, because you can never rely on the old customer to always be there. You always need those new customers.
Yeah, you're correct. Yeah, the customers I have, they're great. They tell their friends and they tell their fellow racers, and then people call me on the phone and they say, "Oh, where are you going to be?" And you know, I'll say, "I'm going to this event. I'm going to Devil's Bowl next week." Okay, I'll see you there. And they look forward to seeing you because we don't get to see each other every week, so it's good. And then you know, they always want. There's always something to do. And like I said, the people they're really appreciative of what I do. And you know, like I said, it's good for both parties.
Now, how's this show worked out for you here over to the Racers Expo?
This show's, you know, just like your show, it's good. You see a different customer base. Bobby Seymour is a really good guy. He puts a lot into this show, just like you put a lot into your show. And he's really truly here to help. You know, he's getting everybody together. So it's for one, you know, if you need something before the season starts, you know, you need a part. So Northeast, you know, Speed's over here, Brad's over here, and you got another, you know, the fire suit guy's here and the tranny guy's here. So you come get your little things in order before the season starts. So you're not, you know, behind the 8 ball when it comes down.
Yeah, you're right. And for all the racers up in Maine, I mean, you know, they can't travel to Connecticut to get their stuff to you. But, you know, how do they get it to you? How do they get in touch with you? I know you're on Facebook. And tell them the easiest way to get in touch with you and get that started so they're not showing up at the first race with problems.
Yeah, if you need to get a hold of me, like Steve said, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook. I have a website, www.waddellcommunications.com. You log on, you go on there, and there's you can navigate through there. There's all my contact information's on there. You can Facebook message me. You can call me. My phone number's on there. You can call me. Basically 24/7. I'll take your call.
Yeah, and you are customer based, and you're the customer service. I can speak volumes for Sean and what he's meant to me and my program and my guys. And he's always there to help us with the shows and be a part of it and promote our events. So he's that guy. So if you got radio, anything to do with radios this year, you need refurbished batteries, you need new radios, you need everything. Sean, your guys are our RE Racing Electronics representative. Really, I mean, it's your own business, but that's use their product, correct?
Yeah, I'm a direct dealer for Racing Electronics, but I'm a service dealer. I just don't sell their product. I go to the track and service it, and that's a big part of it too. When you deal with a company like Racing Electronics, your support team is huge. If I have a problem with something or a customer's having an issue with something, I call right down to Racing Electronics. There's 40 people or 50 people in the background that are helping me out to resolve any issues that I have, if I have any issues. I sell MPI, Max Pappas steering wheels. Max Pappas will call you on the phone occasionally and ask you what's going on, how's everything going. We sell Hans devices, which is owned by Simpson. So if you have a problem, Hans, we do Hans. We do different things. So your support team is very good where I'm at. Just like the support team you get from the racetracks that any racetracks we go to, they support what we're doing. So when we go to the racetrack, we're geared up to go, and they're willing to help us, just like my background team at Racing Electronics. Without them, we couldn't get it done.
Yeah, you're right. So that's Waddell Communications. You can find him on Twitter, Facebook, or waddellcommunications.com. Find him online, and he's got everything you need, and he can be your one-stop for all your racing electronics and all your radio needs for the 2015 race season.
Get the right car at the right price. OTMotorsales.com.
Not sure what brand tire to buy? Town Fair Tire has them all. Michelin, Goodyear, Firestone, Bridgestone, Pirelli, Toyo, Yokohama, Hankook, and more. No matter what size or brand, Town Fair Tire beats all the competition, even online prices. We'll also do a free front wheel alignment with any tire purchase. Name brand tires, the lowest prices, free alignment. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody.
Name brands at discount prices. Town Fair Tire.
Welcome back to Mainely Motorsports. And it's only fitting, as we're going to wrap this show up, we're going to talk about a racetrack. Let's talk about that racetrack that Eddie McDonald, who we had on earlier in the show, grew up, won races at, and still calls his home track right there at Lee USA Speedway. They've been a supporter for the last few years of our off-season shows. Joe Bassett, done a great job. Northeast Motorsports Expo, that track was not, crowned as promoter of the year, that track, and it's a team effort. I know Red and Judy are on the lease, they're on all of the paperwork, but it's a team effort. And Joe traveled up once again with a big block super, and I know they got a tremendous 2015 schedule planned. ISMA is there, the Modified Racing Series, Pass, ACT. There aren't many tracks that have all four of them coming, and Lee is one of them. So, let's hear what Joe has to say, and this is coming from me to you. If you're interested in seeing some great racing, they run on Friday nights. A lot of us race Saturday nights around here. That's your place to be to check out some great racing on Friday night. So we'll hear what Joe Bassett has to say, and then we'll come back and wrap up this week's edition of Mainly Motorsports.
All right, I'm over here in the Lee Speedway booth with Joe. Joe, you got the open wheel big block modified over here. What's going on with that this year?
We're going to have our Ollie Silver Classic August 7th that we always do, traditionally the first Friday in August. ISMA's only appearance at the Lee Speedway, and it's actually the first appearance in New England because they're in Ohio or Canada, the first 9 races they have this year.
Now, a lot of people don't understand the difference between a small block and a big block car, but it's all about torque and getting it out of those corners.
It's all about power. At Lee, a small block is only about 0.3 of a second slower than a big block, but it's all momentum and finesse, where the big block is nothing but horsepower.
There's a reason why there's big cube drag cars and pull trucks.
Oh yeah, it's just sheer horsepower.
Now let's talk about your 2015 special events and your racing season up there.
Yeah, we're going to kick off the season, hopefully, if the snow all melts, April 12th with the Governor's Cup and a practice day the day before. And we roll into, on May 17th, the Bull Ring Bash will be back with the open modified competition. And then May 29th, we'll start our regular season off.
Now when you say regular season, what kind of divisions do you guys run over there?
We run what we call the Supers. It's a small block Super Weekly. And then we run late model sportsmen, hobby stocks, and Ironmen. And this year we're having 4-cylinder pure stocks.
Oh, nice. And good entry-level divisions where people can get hooked on the feeling of racing.
Exactly. You know, you can take hopefully a car out of the junkyard, put a roll cage in it, and go have fun.
All right. Well, I appreciate your time, Joe. Your booth looks great, and we'll see you in the 2015 season.
Thank you, and yes, you will.
Well, as we wrap up this week's edition of Mainly Motorsports, we want to once again thank everybody that came to the racing preview as a participating exhibitor or vendor. Anybody that brought their cars to have them on display, and the cars are just beautiful. Every car in there belonged to be in there, and you know the tracks are doing a great job with the displays. They're really excited about their 2015 season, as they all should be. You know, talk to some of the promoters in there. Their car counts are up. Their number registration is up. So, you know, I'm excited to hit these tracks, and it's coming quick. And it won't be long. And, you know, it's just a matter of time. And, you know, the green, I know you look out the window and it's like, really, Steve, really? You know, but no, it will happen. It will happen. Once it starts melting, it melts. Maybe we will have some issues at the beginning of the year, but when it's all said and done, we will be racing. So once again, thank everybody that bought the tickets for the raffle car. I'm not promising anything next year. I still haven't seen if it worked out. Didn't need to make $1 million, but I didn't need to be hauling it all over New England and then doing the shows and everything else with it and losing money. But that's immaterial. Mike Moody has himself a new ride. Real interested to hear his plans. We'll follow him a little bit, you know, this year, a little bit more than we would normally follow somebody. Just to, you know, it's a car he won. You all had a part of. You all bought tickets for it. You all, you know, had that chance to be Mike Moody, and real anxious to hear what he has to say with it about it for his 2015 season. So thank you to everybody, and I don't know, just the big guys are racing now, so it's a little bit easier as the weekends roll around to think that spring is coming for us, the local short track race fans. So I want to thank everybody once again, and for Steve Perry, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Mainly Motorsports.
All right, so as you pull it out, I don't want you to show the name or anything. I mean, you got it in your head. I want to kind of think and see if I think the person's here or not. So, all right, so reach in there, eyes closed, heads looking the other way. Well, I do know the person. I just don't know if they're here. Should I call it, or should I call their phone and see if they answer? All right, now let's everybody be quiet for a second and see if we can hear somebody's phone ring. Does anybody hear anybody's phone ringing in the area? Hey, Mike? Yeah, Steve Perry from Mainly Motorsports. Hey, you know what you're the proud owner of?
What's that?
What's that? Are you serious? Are you serious? You just won yourself a super late model. No, why would I call you at 6:30? Like I got nothing better to do? And I don't even have your number. Mike Moody from up by Wiscasset, Woolworth's Way, has won himself a pro stock. So congratulations to Mike Moody. But you know what? Hey, wait a minute. Mike, I'm going to call you back, but you can go in and you can do your thing. But I got to talk to these people some more. All right, I don't want anybody to run off yet because I'm going to keep drawing. The first 3 names that I get that people are in the building, I'm going to give you each $100. So is Danny Ware here? All right, man, you didn't win a car, but I'm going to give you $100, okay? Is Vanessa Jordan here? Now let's see who comes up, Vanessa or Richard. It's like The Price is Right, like that consolation game. So don't go figure. The first 2 I draw for 100 are here. The guy with the car, he's home doing nothing. Is Debbie Dorr here? You know what's funny? They have the tickets printed up for me, and she bought the first ticket. So I don't know if that was the first one. So these 3 all won $100. So thank you to everybody that participated.